This is a picture of Julian Assange's father. And this interview, which is on 60 Minutes Australia, and it was just published a few hours ago, and it's so worth seeing and looking at the place in life where Julian came from and the compassion and beauty of him and the things that he has as qualities from his own father. And you can't even imagine what it must be like to have a father have to live every day not knowing what they're going to do to their son. And they've made many, many mistakes. It was out on the internet today that they didn't even serve the United States warrant. So they have screwed up in crime after crime because they're so sloppy and messy. And even though they charged him, they didn't serve the warrant. So it's going to be problematic for them to continue to try to extradite him when they have screwed up themselves. And in this interview, they talk about Ecuador and the fact that they don't have their own money system. They're dependent on US money and they needed a loan. And in order to be granted the loan, Julian was part of the price tag. And I've reported on this before and it's sickening. But when you listen to it from a father, knowing there's a price on their child's head in terms of money for a country, it is the most gut-wrenching thing you can even imagine. And shame on the United States and Ecuador for the sick tactic of what they've done in order to try to slide Julian into a loan through blackmail and put a price on his head. And every single person that's complicit, up to the top in the United States, up to the top in Ecuador, up to the top in the UK, up to the top in France, every single person is trying to punish Julian for allowing people to understand the sickness of what was going on behind the scenes in crimes committed on humanity during war. And even though it's a disgrace and an embarrassment, and it's a shame on the United States, it's a shame on every country that fights in wars. And people are seeing this type of violence that was in the videos that Julian exposed. We're watching that now with Antifa, with ISIS, with everything. This is such an old vendetta that they need to let it go, because through social media, we're subjected to seeing these types of crimes and violence that were in the WikiLeaks videos happen every single place in the planet. And they need to get over what they are mad at and stop doing what they're doing, which is making it worse and committing crimes. And there's too many people, millions of people have seen all of the Antifa and these ISIS people driving through crowds and killing people. And there's videos on the internet where Muslim people just shoot people all in a row. And there's not even a war. They're just doing it as a means of life and the hatred of that cult. And so it's so much of a disgrace on the United States that they're trying to blame one person for one revelation when everything worldwide has that amount of awfulness. And we need to fix it and learn from it and get over it and not target a single individual. Now, I've been updating my blog, which I'll put in here, and all the links are on it of everything that's happening and all the fights around, and at the White House dinner where they were protesting free speech and protecting journalism, and none of the elite that were dressed up even bothered to try to understand what their own freedom of speech is being tied to, which is truth and the meaning of truth, because they are just mouthpieces for the fake news establishments and the wealthy, and they think that trying to even connect to someone who's giving anything real doesn't affect them because they're all paid liars. But what we must do is continue the fight for Julian, and this video needs to be watched and shared, and people need to stop again looking at things as though they're disconnected from them and it's just gossip and what's new. We are destroying lives in the year 2019 because everyone's barbaric and will torture people, and nobody cares. And nobody cares that it's happening all the time to everyone around them. They're so desensitized that nobody has enough compassion to think, this could be my father, this could be my child, and try to do something that's right with your time on the internet, and do something caring, which is to protect the integrity of people that are innocent and not allow them to be falsely charged and lied about because the government doesn't like something that you do. And if we don't fight hard and loud on this particular case and they get away with it, they're going to do it to everyone else and use that as a measuring stick to say, if you do something we don't like, we're going to do to you, no matter how many years it takes, the same thing we did to Julian. And we owe it to him for everything he did for us to enlighten us to what we now know, to fight for his life and his freedom, and against 4 countries of governments that don't care, including the United States, right up to the top. Thank you.